everyone, and welcome back to Gorgi Games. Today we actually have a special guest. Joining me all the way from Perth is our good friend John Aspired.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
All right, so John, why don't you tell a bit about yourself? How do you know me to begin with?
How do I know you? Well, far out, that's going back a few years. It was back in year 11 when we first met, which is high school, like 20 something years.
Yeah,
or is it 30?
Like
20, probably more,
No, not 30. No. It was back in 1997. We were doing year 11, and you were an exchange student, or you just were there for like 1 year?
No. We moved back from living overseas. No, I wasn't an exchange student.
Okay. That's what it felt like. I felt like, who is this guy? I haven't seen him. And then all of a sudden, you just joined.
If I was an exchange student, I'd be wearing a special uniform, man.
Oh, you were special. We were both special. The shit we got up to.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, John. So tell me, what's your favorite game? And are you into games, or is it just a casual kind of thing for you?
For me, I think seriously, I started playing games when I was about my daughter's age, 9, or even before that. But the games that I was playing was different to the games that are around today. Definitely video games, but more like the Atari. And then eventually along came, what was it, Sega Master System 2, and of course Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yep.
But I think I played games more back then than what I play now.
Back in 1997, I believe there was a new Nintendo coming out. It was the Nintendo 64. I'm pretty sure you'll never forget me talking about that every single day. I couldn't wait for the launch. I think it was 1997 in March, the launch of the Nintendo 64. And one of the games that I couldn't stop talking about, I even had photos in my diary of this game, was Super Mario 64.
That's it. And that's how I remember you, because we were in media studies, and you showed me all the pictures in your book, and I was like, okay, this guy's pretty hardcore. He wants 64 and Mario.
Yeah, I couldn't wait. It was the first time, games were moving from 2D to 3D, and especially Mario. It used to be 2D games. The last one was Super Mario World, and then going from that to a 3D environment was such a big deal. I remember like the walks back from school when I was walking back home, and I was thinking, what's it going to be like to play something like this? Because 2D, you're just moving from left to right. How the hell is a 3D game, Mario, going to work? So I had all these crazy ideas of, I'll be able to climb a tree and see the leaves and pick the leaves and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, I thought it was going to be like virtual reality. That's how crazy that was. But
I think having played it myself, it's pretty close to it. It's definitely a game changer, going from the consoles that we played to Nintendo 64 changed it all.
It did. It had so many innovative features. Like, you had 4 players, so you had 4 slots for the controllers to be able to play 4-player. That was really good, especially for Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye. That was a big one. And what I loved about it, besides the Rumble, you had the Rumble Pack as well. You remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. How can you forget the Rumble Pack? There's definitely nothing like that in the Atari, that's for sure.
I was actually, going off topic, I was actually talking to you about the first console that was ever made, which was the Magnus Odyssey, I believe. Is it the Magnus? Yeah.
It is, it's Magnus Odyssey, or I thought it was, actually I was thinking about it on the drive the other day, and I thought, is it Magnus Odyssey or Magnus Omnius or something?
No, it was definitely the Odyssey. But that console was crazy because it wasn't really a video game. You had to put a sheet of paper You had to put some kind of paper on your TV, on your huge box TV, nothing like these kinds of TVs now. But you had the paper, you put it on there, and then you control two dots. So you control these two dots, and you're playing tennis, or you're playing Pong, or you're playing some kind of weird games where you're just pointing something at a screen. And there's your game.
You know, I had to YouTube it, and actually you were telling me about it. And when I YouTubed it, I was laughing because my first thought was actually, which I didn't share with you, what that reminds me of is exactly that. It's a piece of paper with you shining a torchlight on it.
Yeah, it's basically you holding a laser pen at the screen, and you're playing a game. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah. People back then had to have imaginations, otherwise you get bored in like a couple of seconds.
But then after seeing that, because I'd never heard of it until you mentioned it, that was the first gaming concept console. And after seeing that being played, I thought, okay, well, how easy is it for someone to go, for example, I'm just going to make up a name here. Let's say you got Beastmaster, and you got a piece of paper that you put over the TV and you're shining whatever it is you're going to shine. That's the game. Now, how hard is it, or how easy would it be for someone else to come up with their own design and call it Beastmaster 2?
Yeah, back then game design was just whatever you can think of, do it, as long as you can draw it. So
that's it.
There was no rumble, there was no sound even in these games, believe it or not. There was no sound.
Okay.
It was just
I did not.
basic.
Yeah, I didn't know there was no sound. Yeah, I thought they had sound.
If there was sound, it would have been really basic, like boop, 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 like really basic sort of stuff. It wasn't until
like
the
Pong.
Atari and especially the Commodore 64. That's when we started to get sound in games and stuff. But let's go back to the Nintendo 64, because that's the connection we have. Our connection is when we first met, that was the console that was coming out, and that's what we were playing at that time. So there was a game coming out with the Rumble Pack, and the first game that was going to use it was Lilac Wars. But it's actually Star Fox 64. That was the original name of the game. But they couldn't name that due to some kind of reason, copyright or whatever it was. And it had to be named Lilac Wars. Now, that Rumble Pack was built in with that game. And I remember one time we went down to the shopping center, the plaza, and they had like a little kiosk. And when I saw that game, I sprinted. I was like, I gotta play this. I was so curious to find out, how is this gonna feel like a rumble in a game?
Yeah, I remember that walk. You couldn't walk fast enough.
I couldn't. And I remember holding that controller for the first time, and then putting on the turbo engine on the plane, and just feeling the whole thing shaking. It was amazing.
I think, was it Nintendo 64 that first had that setup, or was it PlayStation?
Nintendo 64 was the first one to have Rumble. With the Rumble Pack, it was the first time in any system that the controller was able to shake and rumble. After that, when PlayStation had their controller, they didn't have the two sticks. So how funny is I've got the controller right next to me. They didn't have these two things, the analog sticks. All they had was the D-pad and the buttons. And they had the L1, L2, R2, R2, whatever. But they didn't have the analog sticks, and they didn't have rumble. When the Nintendo 64 came out, then they made the sticks and rumble.
Yeah. Well, it did back then anyway, until I guess Sony took over.
Oh, yeah. And the funny thing is, Sony did take over during the Nintendo 64 period, because Nintendo were too stingy. They were actually charging a lot for companies to license their games. And the other thing was they made cartridges. So instead of starting to make CDs, which were cheaper and you could hold more memory, Nintendo said, no, they're too easy to pirate and to copy. So we'll just stick with cartridge. we'll charge more, and yeah, we'll be fine with the cartridges. But PlayStation made the correct choice.
Well, what other games that did you like on 64?
Well, my favorite games, as you know, was Mario Kart 64. We used to play that after school. We had, remember the battle royale.
Yeah,
You had to pop the balloons.
that's it. Battle mode.
The battle mode, that's the one. Not
Yeah.
battle royale. I hate those games. But anyway, battle mode was my favorite.
Yeah. Mm.
And I remember the more people you have, like if it's 4 people, it was more fun. But even with just me and you, yeah. And I remember, my favorite weapon was the bananas, giving you the slip.
Nah, my favorite was the Heat Seeker.
The Heat Seeker, yeah, the red turtles.
Yeah, that was
That's
guaranteed to get you.
You did. You got me a few times. But yeah, that's one of my favorite memories was playing Mario Kart 64 with you, and especially GoldenEye. And I'm pretty sure you must miss my proximity mines.
All the time, man. You knew every time you killed me, every place I respawned, you always had a proximity mine waiting. So if I respawn, boom, I'm dead.
You remember this? Then you remember this? I'm about to reenact exactly what it sounded like. That's exactly what it sounded like.
That's exactly what happened. Then by the time you respawn, if you respawn back in the same spot, you already had a mine there.
Yep. It was like I remember exactly all the places where you respawn, where I should place the proximities. I was already ahead of you.
But I think wasn't it on just one of the courses? Because it was easier to get from one place to the next. Or was it on all of them?
I think, well, my favorite course was the facility.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I remember. Like I memorized exactly where the respawns are. So that's the one that if we played on it, then I knew where to put them. But if we played something else, the other, like Complex, what was the other one? The Dam.
So the other one too, in the facility one that got me all the time, because you knew what you were doing. You'd climb up into the, into the roof, and there was that toilet block, and you put a mine on every door.
Yeah, I remember
there was that. But then my favorite proximity mines was probably yours. I wasn't that good with the proximity mines. Mine was the rocket launcher.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. As long as you didn't pick Odd Job, then I had a chance, because Odd Job, it was very hard to shoot him because he was the shortest one out of every character. You could run up to someone, if they have a rocket, the rocket will go just over his head. So me, I always had to be Pierce. He's my favorite James Bond as well, so I had to always be Pierce.
Yeah.
But which character were you? You were Odd Job and some other character.
I don't know, whatever was available, but I think we're missing something too. In the end, you were able to remember Big Head mode.
Yeah, I remember. And paintball mode as well.
Yeah, there was all different modes.
There was.
But yeah, Big Head mode was we just couldn't stop laughing.
It's like, how do you miss
Well, you can see you coming from a mile away. You just saw this big head. But then you had other games too. You had all these other games on 64 too. See, I think you always seem to forget this one game, and I always seem to remember it. Remember Top Gear Rally?
I do remember it. Especially
you played that too.
Oh, I loved it. I was like, look at the mud. Look at the way how realistic it looks, and it was just a really fun game to play. Just driving around and trying to beat your times, and it was one of my favorite games.
I think you ended up finishing it, and then you had all these other cars. I think there was a cube car, like a Rubik's Cube, and there were all these different ones. And then
Yeah.
we were able to do 2-player in that as well, I think.
There was 2-player, but it was kind of slow with the frame rate. See, the problem with the 64, it can do single player very well in some games, but then when you do 2 players, the frame rate would drop in half. So instead of 30 frames, it goes to 15 frames. So the games would look very choppy. So sometimes it wasn't really enjoyable to play. It would make me sick. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Stay right there. Stay right there, Mr. John. I'm going to show you a bunch of games and you tell me which one, if you can remember which one we used to play.
I know the top right one's Mario, because I saw a glimpse of him.
How's that?
So we've got Blast Corps. Yeah. Oh, yes. F-Zero was one. We did F-Zero.
Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong Racing.
Okay, yeah, Diddy Kong Racing.
Jet Force Gemini.
But we also played, I don't know if it was exactly that game.
Banjo
yeah,
Kazooie.
you were big on Banjo. But Cruis'n USA was one. I'm swear we played Cruis'n USA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me see what else we got here.
The other thing that came to mind that we played was on, I'm pretty sure it was PS2 maybe, was GTA. We did Mario Tennis. Oh, Hang Time. Yes. We did Hang Time. Oh, and you know what else we played now that I see it on there? Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. Wave Race.
Yeah, we did
Wave
Star
Race.
Wars. Yeah.
Wave Race down here. Where is it?
And I'm sure, didn't we do Tony Hawk Pro Skater as well?
Yeah, we did.
Yoshi. We did Yoshi.
Yoshi's Island or Yoshi's Story.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah, I remember you playing Perfect Dark. I don't remember playing as 2-player, but...
Yeah.
Oh, and the other one that you and Dash used to play is... You played Super Smash Brothers, and the other one above it, I can't quite read that
boxing?
one.
Ready
boxing
to Rumble.
one, yeah, you did that one.
So there you go. I've got the games on my phone. So the Nintendo 64 is always with me.
Nice. You can relive the moments every day.
Absolutely. NBA Hang Time or NBA Jam.
Yeah.
Actually, on the 64, I played NBA Hang Time. On the Super Nintendo, I used to play NBA Jam.
Yeah, Hang Time is the one that we played on 64.
Mm-hmm. There was 2 characters.
And we used to alternate between Hang Time and Mario Kart.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved Mario Kart. Mario Kart, the battle mode, I think was the best.
Battle mode,
game.
then there was but then there was the races as well, because you'd have like 4 courses in one Grand Prix or whatever it was called. And one of them was, I think it wasn't the first time, because Nintendo or Entertainment System had it as well. But it was the first time I'd seen it on Mario Kart 64 was that rainbow mode.
Oh yeah, the rainbow, the course, the rainbow
The course, yeah. And then once you completed, I think you ended up finishing Mario 64, and then there was the mirrored version as well.
Yeah, so it was pretty much going the other way on the same courses.
Yep. And that was probably, I'd say that was probably the hardest course, because it was very easy to fall off the edge.
No, absolutely. You know what? I remember doing a shortcut, especially when that big dip after you go past the finishing line, and then you start a new lap. There was a huge a huge dip in the road, and if you jump at the right time, you can get to the next section on the left-hand side. If you miss it, you're pretty much screwed, and you have to start all over again, and you're well behind at that point.
Yep. Yeah, I remember you doing that a few times. I think it was one time you made it, and another time you didn't.
I used to miss it all the time. I'll be so lucky if I made it once.
Yeah. Yeah, there was always a few shortcuts, even in on the beach course as well.
Oh yeah, I remember the
I
beach
think
course as well.
I think it was like there was a section through the cave.
You have to. There was a ramp and there's a little cave, so you had to
Yeah,
be perfect. If you move left any little bit to the left or the right, and you hit the wall, you're
that
pretty
was
much
it. And
screwed.
you had to go back and around. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember a few times. I'll be racing towards it. I've got my green turtles. I'm ready to fire speed up, and then you
Yep.
fire a heat seeker on me.
Just before you jump over the ramp, I would fire it, hit
Yep,
you,
that's
and then you're
it.
spinning in the air.
I was, yeah. Yep, those were the
Mm.
hard times, man.
Oh yeah, I made it difficult for you. What's your favorite console of all time, and what's your favorite game of all time?
All right, I'm gonna stick with Nintendo as my favorite console.
So the original, the
Most,
NES.
yeah, the original NES. But even if I was to pick today, or even back in our day, compared to whether it's PlayStation or whatever gaming console, I think it would always be Nintendo. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason why is I can relate to those games. They're fun, they're entertaining, engaging. It's
Yep.
not to say that the other consoles don't have that. It's more that I just enjoy like the Mario Karts and the characters because they're not just in one game. They feature Mario in other games like Mario Tennis or Paper Mario or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that Nintendo's more aimed at a different audience, different type of demographic
Yep.
of people, but I still enjoy it.
Okay.
As for favorite game, I would have to say back what got me into Nintendo was Game Boy and Super Mario Land.
Super Mario Land. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that game. It was very different from the Mario's that I was used to. It was new characters. It wasn't Princess Peach that you were saving. It was actually a Daisy. And I was like,
That's right, yes.
who the hell's Daisy? Even Bowser wasn't in the game. It was some other, I think it was
No,
some kind
it
of
wasn't.
alien. Because the final mission in that game is you flying a ship, and then you're fighting against this huge alien. And when you beat him, then you save Daisy, and that's the end of the game.
That's right. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you knew this, you probably do, but I'll mention it. When you completed Super Mario Land, and I just did this for fun, I thought, oh, I wonder if I start again, what happens? But it only happens if you sit and play the entire game right to the end. And then if you play it again from the very first level, it's different characters.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I think I
So
do
they
remember that.
modified it.
They
Yeah, they made
modified
it
the
a little bit more
characters. Yeah.
harder. They modified the characters. They made it a little bit more harder, so it was like an advanced level of the entire game.
Mm.
And I used to love playing that. So when I was bored at home, I would turn on Game Boy, play Super Mario all the way through to the end, and then I'd play it again all the way to the end.
Yeah, I can still remember the music. That dun dun
Yeah,
dun 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 dun. It's always in my head. I'll never forget that tune. The other thing I remember, and I was like, "What the hell?" When you got the star, the power star that makes you invincible, instead of dun 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 dun, it was actually dun, dun, wait, how's it go again?
I
Oh
have
my god, it
no
was in my
idea.
head. Now it's gone. Dun, 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 dun. That was the song.
That's right. Yeah, it was too, man.
Why did they have that instead of the original?
I have no idea.
You know, the theme was different. The star sound was different. And you know what's even funnier? You know how Mario's always had the fire flower, the fire
Yeah,
flower. In Mario Land, you didn't have the fire flower. It was actually a super ball, because when you shoot it, it bounces off the ground and goes up in the air. Have you noticed?
yeah, I remember that.
So it had all new powers, music, and enemies and characters. only Mario was the only original thing.
Yeah, it was Mario. I'm just trying to think back too. Eventually, didn't they bring out a colored version of the Game Boy so that you were able to play that Super Mario Land, but played in color?
Yeah, they released the Game Boy Color. First, they released a few different Game Boys. You know, you had the Game Boy Light, which was actually smaller, and then they even put a Game Boy backlight.
Game Boy Advanced.
No, this is just the original Game Boys, because the original Game Boy
Okay.
didn't have a backlight, so you had to play it somewhere that was that had a light. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see the screen. A lot of people were complaining, I cannot see the game when I'm in bed or when the lights are off. So they finally included it. And then after that, they made Game Boy Color. And that one allowed you to play the original games in color, but it was only different shades of color that you could play it.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. And the other thing too was if you wanted to play two-player, I'm not sure if you could play Mario Land with two-player. I think you could, but
No,
you needed...
that was only one player. Was
it?
Mm-hmm.
So Tetris, which we owned, I can recall that was two-player, but in order to play two-player, you needed another Game Boy and you needed another Tetris. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there.
See, someone was like, wow, two-player, you needed a cable.
Oh, dear.
But you're right. You actually had to have the link cable, and the other person had to have the same game as you. They need the Game Boy. They need the game. Yeah. And then one of you would bring the cable, and then you can play two players. But it was terrible. The cable's not long enough. You had to stand right next to the person. It wasn't the best solution, I think.
No, but I think they were just trying something new. And I think I just don't know. Maybe it was their way of making some more money. Who knows?
Yeah, they had to do something. They wanted to involve other people, and it's a good way to get more game sales, especially if you have to get the other person to buy the same game. So instead of someone just, oh, I've got the game, all you need to do is bring your Game Boy, we can play. Oh no, you need to buy it as well. So the more people that bought it, the better it was for Nintendo to make more money.
Yeah, that's it. So what about you? Like, what's your favorite gaming console and game?
It's really hard. Like, it depends. Sometimes I will straight away say Nintendo 64, and I'll say Mario 64 or Zelda, Ocarina of Time. But sometimes I lean towards the PlayStation. And for me, it's always been, with PlayStation, it's been Metal Gear Solid because of the story. I love Mario because it's a platformer, but then as I grew up, I wanted something more mature. I wanted to play a game with a really grown-up story. And I was really big into James Bond, especially when I was a teenager. And they released this game that was like a spy thriller, and it was like, wow, this is like James Bond, but it's in the future, it's futuristic. And it had a really good story. So sometimes I say PlayStation 2 and Metal Gear Solid, or 2 or 3. And other times I'm like nostalgic and I'm like, I love the Nintendo 64. Even the GameCube, I love the GameCube, So I can't say for sure this is my favorite and this game's my favorite. I just can't do that.
Have you ever gone out, really looked forward to purchasing a game and then been really disappointed?
It's really funny. I bought a game just recently on the PS5, on that thing. I bought a game. It was called Returnal. All right. Now, listen to this. I wish I could Returnal the game. I want to Returnal the game.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. Returnal. It says it all. Now, a lot of people are like, wow, this game's really good. Now, let me explain to you what this game's about. It's about you crashing on an alien planet. You're this woman that crashes on an alien planet. You've lost your memory and you don't know why you've crashed on this planet. When you die in the game, it starts again with you crashing onto the planet. And you wake up and you don't know what's happened. So that's the game. It's called Returnal because you keep on dying and you do the same shit over and over.
Groundhog Day.
It's like Groundhog Day. And there's a part in the game, there's a part in the game where you reach a certain point, and when you die, it's easier for you to get to that place again. But you still have to watch the ship crashing and you waking up, and you have to find where you were up to. So, and the game is so freaking hard. There's no save. You cannot save the game.
Yeah, those games are a nightmare.
You cannot save the game. So when you die, you always start at the start. You lose all your weapons. You lose everything that you found before you died.
That's
so
crazy.
Imagine that, playing the same fucking game over and over, dying, and there's no save.
Yep.
I really regretted buying that game. And guess how much I spent on it?
$70.
Try $120.
What?
PlayStation
That's
5.
crazy, man.
PS5 games are $124. $124 for a game now on PS5.
Do you get like a cooling off period? And if you don't like it, can you return it?
If you buy it online, there's nope, because I bought it online. If you buy it from
but that's what I mean. Oh, okay.
If you buy it from the PlayStation Store, if you don't download it fully, you can get a refund. But if you've downloaded it and you've played it, they don't let you return it.
That's crazy.
And that's what I hate, because this game, you know, I'm not really into these type of games. They're called roguelikes. Basically, you play the game. If you die, you lose everything, and you have to start from the exact beginning.
No.
So that's the biggest regret I've had with buying a game.
Yeah, I can understand. I think I'd be frustrated with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of frustrations and games, I know this is totally on a tangent, but this is probably why I don't play games now on like the iPhone in particular, because when you download a game, it's never free. It's comes with in-app purchases. So for example, I might be playing one level of a game. To advance to the next level, you got to pay this to pay for the full game, or it's a monthly subscription.
The biggest problem with today's gaming business practices is in-app purchases, and especially DLC. I hate those two things, like free to play and in-app purchases. They need to be eradicated from the industry. Like, why the fuck would you buy a game and then you have to spend more to unlock features that should have been there when you first bought it?
Well, that's right. That'll be no different if you bought a PlayStation 5 game. You spend $120 on it, let's say, and then to find out, but wait a minute, if you want these extra weapons, you're going to pay more, or pay a monthly subscription. Yeah,
like check this out. There was a game called Battlefront 2, Star Wars. And in this game, you have in-app purchases pretty much, which is called loot boxes. You play the game and then you earn these credits that allow you to open up these loot boxes, right? When you open up the loot box, you get new weapons, new characters, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people are spending real money in order to buy these loot boxes, to open them up, to get new characters and weapons. And you're spending money so you can change your weapon into a different color. So I want to change my gun into blue. You're spending money for that blue color.
That's crazy.
Like, what the fuck, man? I remember going to the store. I buy a game, put it in, and that's it. That's the whole game. There's no download. There's no extra purchases. Nothing.
Yeah, but now they want you to buy the game, but then they want more.
And I'll tell you right now, where gaming is heading is actually scary, because now they're starting streaming services. So I don't know if you've heard of XCloud on Microsoft.
No.
Pretty much you can stream the game without needing to buy the console. So you're streaming it like YouTube or Netflix straight to your television or your phone, and you're playing it with a controller. So you don't need to buy a PlayStation. You don't need to buy an Xbox, but you do need to pay for the subscription in order to use that.
All right. And how much is the subscription going to be?
They're saying it's cheap. You could buy it. I don't know exactly the prices because I don't use it myself, but they're going to offer you the subscription for a very low price. But when there's extras, that's when the price will go up. You know, extra DLC, extra, in-app purchases, stuff like that. That's where they're going to get you.
Yeah. I suppose maybe they're thinking, if you're not buying the console, that's their way of getting more money. Who knows?
Yeah. And think about this. You don't own the game anymore. You're only paying to use the service. So in the future, if I want to go and play this game offline, I'm not going to be able to, because it's only on online service.
But surely you'd think that they would give you the option. Or are they completely going to do away with consoles?
I think there is a couple of options. If you do own the console, if you have an Xbox, if you got a PlayStation, you can download the game fully. So you can download the game and play it, or you can stream it. That's the option at the moment. But I think Microsoft wants to get away from the console and just do it as a subscription service.
Subscription streaming service. So what happens if you're in the middle of a game and there's a power outage or you lose internet connection?
If there is a power outage, I think what happens is the game is saved at that point. So you will continue. Next time you turn it on, the game will continue at that exact point.
I can see the advantage of them going down that avenue, but then at the same time, I can also see that I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, I still would rather buy the console, download it, and have the game. If it's not physical, at least I've downloaded it onto a hard drive.
Well, that's it. I think there's still some sort of satisfaction to owning a game rather than just streaming it. I mean, streaming sounds like it's fun, but I think owning a game is next level.
Yeah, it's convenient.
Because then, like you said, you can, it's convenient, but you can play it at your own time. So it's almost like training. You can play it offline, get good at it, and then go online and play others.
So, John, I know that you've got your own YouTube channel. It's called John Aspired. What I want you to do is tell the audience a little bit about your channel and what it is that you are doing on that channel.
Look, when I originally started YouTube, I just did it for fun because I wanted to get the feel of what it was like to be a content creator or an influencer, if you can even call me that. I was just making videos, random videos. And you yourself were telling me that I should have like a theme for my channel. But to be honest, I didn't know what that theme was. I just wanted to do random vlogs. But the more I'm watching other YouTubers, I've realized that the content that I'm watching is being more photography and filmmaking. So that's the avenue that I'm going to come back with, making videos about photography, filmmaking, but from a beginner's perspective. So I want to make videos based on, say, photography, what it's like to be starting out as someone that's learning, but as I'm learning, I'm teaching my viewers. So I don't know if there's anyone doing that sort of thing or if I've got this all figured out the wrong way, but I know in my head it makes sense. So I'm hoping to be able to convey that in my videos.
It's fantastic to have, to have a set of skills that you want to teach other people, because there's going to be a lot of people out there that don't know, what to do with photography, how to get started. There's a lot of different topics that your channel can provide and help that you can provide other people out there.
One piece of advice I could give anyone that's probably watching this video and that's considering creating content is create content that you want to create. Don't create content that someone else is creating and you think that will get you the views. I personally feel if you're doing what you love and you're passionate about, then that will shine through the content that you make.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about learning about, making videos, photography and all that is that you can apply it to other sorts of videos that you would make. So like me, I was really into videography, photography and stuff. And now I've applied all the skills that I've learned from that into my gaming channel. And it's helped me with the editing of the videos, with the lighting, with, microphone, camera setup, all that sort of thing. It's helped me a lot. So I believe that learning different skills helps you become a better YouTuber, or even, a better, whatever it is that you want to do. It will always make you better learning new skills. If anyone's got, suggestions, what videos you want us to do in the future, give us a comment below. Don't forget to like and to share the video so we can get everyone on board to watch this. And in the future, we're hoping to do more and more as time goes on. All right, John, this was a really great catch up with you. I've really enjoyed our little talk about our gaming history. I'm pretty sure we've got more stories to tell in the future.
We do, because we never even touched on the Atari.
We haven't even touched the Atari yet. So I think we could save that for the next video.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much for joining me and everyone else out there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the video, and we'll see you again on the next video.